Now you've retrieved the Trojan from the tenant's home, you're back in the office, it's time to download your data. To do so, please take your USB data transfer cable. Voila. This part is going to go into the bottom of the instrument, and as you probably guessed, that part is going to go into your laptop. So, to connect your instrument to your laptop, I'm just going to lift this up so hopefully you can see, switch it to the side. So this, you can't really get this in the wrong place, it can only fit into one compartment, so it simply goes in like that. And then your cable into your laptop. Let's take a look at NoiseTools. This is NoiseTools. NoiseTools is written in-house by Cirrus Research and is provided free of charge and license-free. When you've connected your Trojan to NoiseTools, these options will appear. Monitor and measurements do not need to concern yourself with. Monitor is of more use if you're using our outdoor kit with a modem, and measurements, well, all that will do is just show you the measurements in your filing cabinet here at the side for that particular serial number. But the ones that you will be interested in are the following. So we'll take a look at configure and we'll take a look at download. To configure your Trojan 2, there are various options. So I should just click onto it now. And just to try and make life easier for everybody, I'll make the screen bigger. So first of all, if you wish, you can give your instrument a name. You can click Save to Instrument, and that will now be the name of your instrument. Every time you download, you'll see the name appear there. You can switch languages if you wish. If you're twinned with somewhere exciting and hopefully you get to visit, you can pick any of those languages. Yours will be sent to you in English. You can change the date and time format if you desire, and out of the box it will be set to days, months, year. So that's interface. We also have integrating. You can use our equipment anywhere in the world. So here we have the UK. UK and EU are pretty much identical. OSHA would be the United States, and you can customize them as well if you wish, but we will leave ours set on the UK. Storage. Here at the top we have time history rate, and that is just a confirmation of how often it is calculating the decibel levels, regardless of the parameter that we're going to be analysing. Out of the box, yours will be set at 1 second, which means that it calculates the decibel value every second. This is the ideal setting for nuisance noise recorders. You can, however, if you're doing handheld monitoring, you can drop it down to as low as 1/100th of a second. But bear in mind that's 100 times the data. So, when would you use that? Well, you may use it for firework monitoring, things of that nature. Gunshots and firework shots are very loud, but they're very brief. For nuisance noise though, 1 second is appropriate. We also have repeat and single timers, but I shall explain a little more about those when we get to our noise nuisance tab, as they apply whether you're using it as a handheld or whether you're using it as the nuisance noise recorder. Here on audio, we have audio quality options, standard, high and studio. This is referencing bit rate, but please note that all versions are uncompressed WAV files and are admissible in court. We would recommend for nuisance noise recording using the standard option, and that is what your Trojan will be set at when you receive it. However, if you're doing noise for extractor fans, things like that, low frequencies, high frequencies, you may wish to switch to high or studio. But as a nuisance noise recorder, standard is the ideal option. Here where it says maximum audio duration unlimited, please don't panic. That is referring to you using it as a handheld meter. So if you press audio, it will record audio as a handheld meter, but you can just press audio again, it will stop recording audio. You can, if you wish, leave it on a tripod and pick these increments here, 2 minutes, 5 minutes and 10 minutes. It will stop recording audio after whatever time frame you've selected. But for nuisance noise, we will be focusing on the tab, the noise nuisance tab coming up in a moment. We also have audio triggers. If you're placing this inside a void property, you may find it of use. We would not recommend you using it when the Trojan is inside a person's home because it will record audio without them interacting with it, and we don't want it to do that. They're supposed to be telling you when the noise is annoying. But if you are leaving it in a void property, you can tell it to record audio when parameters have been met. So those parameters could be based on the LAEQ, and it can be based on octave data, so a specific frequency. So I'm just going to randomly select some items here. I'm going to change that to 79 decibels for no particular reason. Jump it up to 2 seconds. So what I've told the instrument to do here, and now I'd click OK and save to instrument, that would mean that should the instrument hear 79 decibels above 25 hertz that lasts longer than 2 seconds, it would start to record audio. As soon as those parameters are no longer being met, it would stop recording audio. So very useful for unattended measurements, but inside somebody's home, we would recommend that you don't use audio triggers, you simply allow them to record audio using the fobs when the audio or the noise is troubling them. LN values, or a fancy way of saying statistical analysis. We know what the most commonly used LN values are. You may refer to them as LAF values, they are the same thing. So you may see LN10, LN90 or LAF10, LAF90. Those parameters mean for LAF90 for 90% of the measurement, the decibel was at this level, and for LAF10 or LN10 for 10% of the measurement, it was at this level. Generally speaking, the 90 would be the background noise and the 10 would be the noise that people are complaining about. But we know what the most commonly used ones are. They're all there for you. However, should you wish, you can create your own LN values with your own time weighting preference, frequency weighting, and you can also select the percentage. So for example, we have one gentleman that wants to know what the 99.8 percentile is when he's carrying out handheld monitoring. Had I have clicked Save to Instrument, that LN value or LAF value would be monitored every time you took a measurement. Noise Nuisance tab. Here we have our pre and post triggers and our maximum audio duration. So the pre-trigger and the post-trigger, what are they for? Well, they are for two reasons. They are to help catch impulse noise. So if somebody's complaining about doors slamming, by the time they press record, the door's already slammed and they've missed a recording. But that's okay because we have a pre-trigger and it will capture up to 30 seconds of audio before they press record. Maybe the door slams again after they press stop. That's okay, the post trigger will capture that, and that is up to 60 seconds. Out of the box, yours will be set, your pre will be set at 30, your post will be set at 30, but you can change them to match whatever your preferences are. And again, all we ever need you to do with any changes in NoiseTools configuration is simply click Save to Instrument, and that is how your instrument will work. The other reason for pre and post triggers, if you're new to using this sort of equipment, is help you to catch out disingenuous claims. Now, I'm sure wherever you live, all of your claims are entirely genuine, but that's not always the case. This will help you understand if people have banged on walls to get dogs to bark and then started to record that, or turned music on upstairs, bobble downstairs, shut the door to the living room so it sounds muffled and then start to record. But if you've got pre and post triggers, the pre-trigger, you'll be able to hear the music clearly, then walk down the stairs, closing the door and then saying press record. So that's there for disingenuous claims and to catch impulse noise should the person miss it with the remote control fob. Maximum audio duration is out of the box. It will be set at 5 minutes, but we have these various options from 2 minutes to 4 hours. Pro tip for you, wouldn't suggest using the 4-hour option, so that's a long piece of audio. Out of the box, yours will be set at 5 minutes. So what this means is, when they press record on the key fob, if they forget to press stop, it will stop recording after 5 minutes. However, that's just the maximum. They can press record, and then if it's a door slamming, they can press stop as soon as the door stops slamming, and that will be the length of the audio. It's the maximum, not the minimum. We also have repeat timers and single timers, but for the Trojan, we would recommend the repeat timer is your most sensible option. So you can customize here, and you can tell it to do a 24-hour period if you wish through customization. And what that will mean is if you install the Trojan inside somebody's home for 7 days, you have a choice. You can either come back to 1 7-day measurement or 7 one-day measurements. If you are working from home, connecting to the office server where you store NoiseTools, you may find it much easier to download each day individually with all of those audio recordings as opposed to a 7-day long measurement. Please be aware to try and make your life easier. No matter what time you install the Trojan inside somebody's home, midnight is always the end of the first 24-hour period. So if I were to install it in your home this evening at 10:30 tonight, at midnight it will stop and then immediately start taking another measurement. And the reason for that is we want each 24-hour period to have its own individual date as opposed to running over 2 days. So midnight is always the end of the first 24-hour period, regardless of the time that you installed it in the person's home, and then therefore midnight is the cut-off point for every other day after that. That would be our recommended way of using your Trojan. We also have our Advanced tab. The Advanced tab gives you some control. So what can we see here? Well, at the top of the screen where my cursor is now, you can disregard that. That is only for people using our outdoor kit with a modem. But down here we have our partition editor. If you slide the bar up and down, you'll see the numbers changing. Time history, that's the length of measurement. Audio recording, that's the amount of audio that you're allowing the tenant to record. If you take it all the way to the bottom for the audio, so that's 5% audio, that's an hour and a half of audio and 147 days of time history or length of measurement. You can go to the other extreme. 5% time history will give you 7 days and 10 hours of measurement history, time length. But look how much audio you're allowing them to record. 32 hours and 45 minutes. That's a huge amount of audio. You should not need that amount of audio to establish a noise complaint as being valid. Out of the box, yours will be set at 50/50, and you can choose whatever audio amount you wish to give people. When you click confirm, this little box will appear every time that you use the partition editor. And what it's reminding you is that as you've altered the way the memory is going to be allocated, the instrument will have to wipe all measurements from the instrument. Otherwise, the memory change won't be affected. So make sure you've downloaded all of your data before you click any of the buttons on the partition editor. When you are sure that you've done that, you can simply click OK, save to instrument, and whatever you've decided for the partition editor is how your Trojan will now work. But just to remind you, out of the box, that will be set at 50/50. And then the final tab, just to explain it away, this is our communications tab, which you would use if you're using the outdoor kit with the modem. Any changes that you make, save to instrument, and if you're unsure about any changes, you can always go to backup restore and we'll be reset, and it'll be the same as it was the day we sent it to you in the post. And that is all you need to know for configuration.